Hello, in this video, I'm going to be talking about managing fear of recurrence of your cancer. Before I go on, I'd love to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have other videos just like this that address living with uncertainty, dealing with a quote new normal, and a host of other topics as well as ones dealing with treatment. I'd also love to invite you to go to yerbba.com to get your personalized report. So fear of recurrence probably goes without stating, this worry of the cancer coming back. This is so common and normal. You know, we live with uncertainty our whole lives, right? The minute we have a baby, the minute we take a new job, really every time we get in the car, we're living with fear of uncertainty. But there's something about breast cancer that feels more proximate or more immediate. And there are a couple things that can make it worse. One of the things that can make it worse is when we don't get a specific number on what our risk of recurrence is, or low, medium, or high. We're just told stage 1 or stage 2, or this is an aggressive cancer because it's triple negative. And so that lack of information can be a big barrier to overcoming fear of recurrence. I do want to spend a moment validating what the impact is of fear of recurrence. Living like you're on eggshells, living wondering when the next shoe will fall, which is something I hear all the time, can affect your happiness and joy. It can actually lead to being hypervigilant. So every symptom leads you to catastrophic thoughts. The cancer's back, I'm going to die. And this is normal. You are not alone in having these thoughts. We're making this video because we know this is so common. Is it helpful to know that? Is it helpful to know you're not alone? Fear of recurrence can make it hard for you to make plans into the future. The first thing I would say in managing fears of recurrence is get the facts. Make sure you talk with your physician and ask them, what is my risk of the cancer coming back with treatment and after the treatment? These fears can actually be more pronounced when multimodality treatment is over. What I mean by that is chemo and surgery and targeted therapy, endocrine therapy and radiation therapy. That's multimodality therapy. You actually walk into this great unknown. You don't know who you are. You don't know if you're cured. We have a video about that you may want to watch. We don't know if we're in remission. There's sort of this uncertainty about where we are. If you're told you're living without any evidence of disease, you're actually defined by what you're not, aren't you? You have no evidence of disease, so what am I? I don't really like the term survivor. I don't like the term thriver, or maybe you do, but this unknown can be difficult. And I can promise you this, your doctors don't know the extent to which having a real number or a range would be helpful. I've actually found that telling people with stage 3 disease they have a 50% chance of the cancer coming back, which is a pretty good estimate, is so relieving to them, because they hear they have high-risk disease, or maybe they're told they have an aggressive tumor, lots of positive nodes, and hearing that they have a 50-50 chance of it coming back is actually really reassuring, because they thought they had a 0% chance of it not coming back. So getting clarity on the number, actually accurate information, has been shown to improve hope, even when that accurate information might not be what you want. And a lot of doctors think that giving you accurate information will take away hope. They're not familiar with the hope literature. So I'm going to say it again. Accurate information actually increases hope. And I think it's because accurate information is better than maybe what you're imagining. So that can be really helpful. And talking with, if not your oncologist or your surgeon, finding somebody who can look at everything in your chart and tell you, based on everything that's available, they can give you an estimate, 10 to 20% chance it'll come back, or 50% chance it will come back. So that's the number one thing. I think that knowledge is power. I have had people tell me that ignorance is bliss, but if you're a knowledge is power person, let them know that. The other thing to do is to remind yourself that you've dealt with uncertainty in the past. How have you managed uncertainty when you've been scared before. You have strength and you have resilience. You are not broken, and you have tools and strategies for dealing with uncertainty. How do you deal with the uncertainty every time you get in a car or get on an airplane, or when you had a child or your sister or brother had a child? How have you coped with uncertainty in the past? What strengths or strategies have you used? The other thing is to reframe the worries and thoughts. So when you worry and you say, I'm so afraid the cancer is going to come back, I'm just waiting for it, think about what you can control. You have done everything possible to keep the cancer from coming back. That's even if you said no to a treatment that was offered, because you said no because that wasn't concordant with your values, with how you wanted to live your life. So you've done everything possible that was acceptable to you to keep the cancer from coming back. You've done everything you can. So take that worry, see if this works. It may not, but it's really a thought substitution. Of course I'm worried about the cancer, and I've done everything I can. And at this point, really what I can do is take the absolute best care of myself. I can heal from everything I've been through. It's not a bad thing to think about distraction. So when these thoughts come up, what would help you be distracted? But long-term, distraction has actually not been shown to be helpful. So if we shove aside or avoid our fears, they actually can come roaring back. So what are some ways to take those fears, not avoid them, and work through them, but not ruminate about them? Rumination is when we chew things over. There are a couple of things that can help. One is creative expression. That could be singing, writing in a journal, creating art, where you express your fears. Here's a caveat, don't do it at bedtime. Do this before dinner. That's my general rule of thumb, and what patients have told me is helpful. If you're going to journal, write, worry, dance, draw, do it before dinner, because you want to get it out of your system. You want to close that stress loop, but not right before bed. If you write in your journal for half an hour about your fears of recurrence, it's very likely you won't have time to close that stress loop before it's time for bed. The avoidance, as I mentioned a moment ago, will come up in rumination. If you find you're ruminating at night, waking up with fears, ask yourself, what can I do to not avoid these thoughts and also not over-identify with them? These fears and ruminations do not have to become you. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. They're real feelings and thoughts. They're valid, but you are not your thoughts. I'm going to say it again. You are not your thoughts. Your life is not your thoughts. And actually, you're not a fortune teller. You are not. I'll tell you a story. I had a patient who at 5 years said to me, I'm free of breast cancer at 5 years now. I can live my life. A year later, she came in and she said, I wish I'd lived my life those 5 years earlier. I didn't tell her she wasted her time. She told me she had. She said, I had 5 really good years and I gave them away to breast cancer by worrying about them. And that stuck with me. That's probably 30 years ago that she told me that. And so try to seize the day. Take every day for its troubles and its blessings. You are free of disease now, or you feel fine now. Even if you're living with metastatic disease, you are here now, living in the present, whether it's through mindfulness or mindfulness meditation, whether it's through taking a walk and being thankful for your body that is so beautiful, that's working so well right now. These are some of the things that can help. My guess is that you have some things that have helped you. Join the conversation. Write something in the chat that other people in the community can read. We'd love to hear. And if you have questions about anything we've said here or in our other videos, write those. This is a conversation, and like all conversations, we ask that people be civil, not just to one another, but to us here at Yerbba. We read your comments, and when you write to us, you're writing to me and to the rest of my team, so please be civil. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.